Hi everyone, Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are with the jinn and human sickness. Remedies in the light of the Quran and Sunnah. I made this in English. I took it from this book, The Jinn and Human Sickness. I want to do this for non-Arab people and non-Muslim people to know about it, to know how to treat the patient. He has sickness, he is ill and sickness with jinn and devils. The beliefs of the people of Tawheed concerning the jinn and devils. Definition of jinn. The word jinn in Arabic refers to something that is concealed and hidden. Al-Jawhari said, Al-Jan is the father of the jinn, the plural of which is jinan. It says in Al-Gammus Al-Muhit, Janahu al-Layl means the night covered him. Everything that is concealed from you is Junna Anka, concealed from you. Jinn al-Layl means the darkness of the night. Al-Mijanna refers to the land where there are many jinn. Al-Jan is the plural of Al-Jinn. It says in Lisan al-Arab, Janana means to cover or conceal. Everything that is concealed from you is Juna Anka, concealed from you. Janahul Layl means the night covered him. The jinn are so called because they are concealed and hidden from view. Hence the fetus is called Al-Janin because he is concealed in his mother womb. Abu Umar ibn Abdul Bar said, according to the scholars of Arabic language, there are different categories of jinn. 1. When they mention the jinn in general terms, they use the word jinni. 2. If the jinn is one of those who live in houses with people, they call him Amir, Dilwar, the plural of which is Omar. 3. If the jinn is one of those who interact with children, they call them Arwah, spirits. 4. If the jinn is wicked, then he is a shaitan, devil. 5. If he is worse than that, they call him Marid, demon. 6. If he is worse than that and is strong, they call him Ifrit, the plural of which is Afarit, يعني عفاريت. The beliefs of the people of Tawheed concerning the jinn and devils. People's beliefs concerning the jinn vary. Some of them deny that they exist at all. Some discuss the meaning of the word jinn without affirming that they exist, and some misinterpret the meaning of the words jinn and shaitan, devils, in ways that are not Islamically acceptable. Shaykh al-Islam Ibn Taymiyyah said, all nations believe in the jinn, and they have many stories which would take too long to tell. No one denies the existence of the jinn except a few small groups of ignorant philosophers and doctors and their ilk. As for the elite of the people, it is narrated that they either believed in the jinn, or no opinion was narrated from them concerning the matter. Dr. Ibrahim Kamal Adham says in his valuable book Al-Sihr wal-Sahara, researching the topic of the jinn is one of the most difficult of subjects, especially since it has to do with finding out about a hidden world that is not visible and cannot be measured in physical and or empirical terms. People have various ideas in their minds about jinn, which vary according to their culture, individual nature, and level of education. There are many stories which the people tell one another about the jinn in the villages and deserts, where witchcraft, fraud, and charlatanry are also widespread. Dr. Ibrahim Kamal Adham says all people, old and young, educated and non-educated, male and female, have something to say about the jinn and their hidden world. There is no one I spoke to whilst gathering information about what people believe about the world of the jinn, who did not give me a great deal of information. People's beliefs about the jinn come from many sources. Some stem from primitive beliefs that grow from people's fear of natural forces. Some are a reflection of human thoughts and hidden desires. Some comes from myth and fables and stories made up by soothsayers, witches, and charlatans to deceive their weak-minded victims. Some come from the whispers, waswas, of the shaitan, and some come from the teachings of Islam or distortions thereof. From the information that I gathered, I found that there was virtual consensus among both the common people and the educated ones among them that the jinn exists. This belief goes along with what is taught by Islam, but the common people speak of this hidden world in great detail and with a lot of information for which Allah has not sent down any authority. They speak as if they can see this world as clear as day. Most of those whom I met believe in the jinn, and they believe that it is possible to see them and that they can take on various forms, the most common of which are the forms of a huge snake, a black cat, a black dog, or a sheep. But strangely enough, many said that when a jinn takes on a human form, his feet remain in the form of a goat's feet. There is also virtual consensus that the jinn are afraid of wolves and they cannot appear in wolf form. Many people believe that wolves have power over the jinn when they appear in physical form and are able to attack and devour them. They also believe that the jinn flee from the scent of wolves. Hence, some of those whom I met in remote mountain villages like to wear an amulet containing something from the wolf be it a hair, a tooth, a bone, or a piece of skin. Among many people, there is also a deep fear of the jinn and of mentioning their name. So when they want to speak of the jinn, you notice them saying with great fear, Bismillah, means in English, in the name of God. Sometimes, if a person develops a backache for which no medical explanation can be found, in the end, he decides that it is because of the jinn taking revenge on him. He must have hurt or annoyed the jinn without realizing, so the jinn struck him on his back in revenge. Similarly, the common people, especially those who interact with the jinn, believe that the jinn live a long life. Some of them are certain that the jinn live for thousands of years, and they support this view by saying that their fathers and grandfathers used to summon the same jinn that they summon, and God knows best. There are some of the things that people believe about the jinn. The belief that poses the most danger to the aqidah of the Muslim, which is the false belief that contradicts faith and Islamic aqidah, is the belief shared by most of the common people that the jinn are able to know the unseen. Hence you see them crowding around the doors of soothsayers and fortune tellers who claim to contact the jinn, seeking to find out about the unseen. This is a false belief. Many people also believe that it is possible to subjugate the jinn and use them to meet their needs by the use of talismans, spells, and burning incense. They also classify the jinn, dividing them into categories such as inferior and superior, of those who belong to the shaitan and those who belong to God. Each category has its own type of talisman and incense and may be used for specific purposes. So the superior jinn may be used for good purposes, to create love and harmony among people, whereas the inferior jinn may be used for harmful purposes, to create enmity and division among people, just as they divide the jinn into superior and inferior. So too they divided the jinn into many categories according to their tasks and colors. So there are red jinn, black jinn, and green jinn, and there are jinn who fly, jinn who travel underwater, and jinn who cross the deserts and wildernesses. I still remember many of the stories that we used to hear when we were small in the night-time gatherings in the village where I grew up. These stories spoke of the jinn and how they would appear to the people and take on different forms, that they wandered through the streets of the village in the form of rabbits, small children, and animals. There was one story which was very well known about a man who was working in his field one night when someone came and offered to help him. The man accepted his offer, but after a while the farmer looked at the man's feet and saw that they were the feet of the donkey. Seized with terror, he started running and did not stop until he reached the edge of the village. At the edge of the village, he met another man who started to reassure him and asked him what was the matter. So he told him what had happened in the field, and he said a jinn had appeared to him, whose feet were the feet of a donkey. The man said to him, "Like my feet," and he looked and saw that the man had the feet of a donkey. The common folk also believe that if a man is killed in revenge, in areas of Upper Egypt where this custom is prevalent because they are not ruled according to that which God has revealed, then an Ifrit appears from the place where he has been killed. In fact, these stories are widespread. These false beliefs find fertile ground because of the lack of proper Islamic knowledge and knowledge of Tawheed and sound Aqidah, which is fortune tellers, charlatans, and worshippers of the dead are widespread as the result of people's ignorance of Islamic teachings and of devils toying with people's mind. This leads to an important question. What should the Muslims' attitude be toward these beliefs and stories? In order to answer this question, we say that the existence of the jinn and the world of the unseen are things in which the Muslim is required to believe, even though they are hidden from him. Ahl al-Sunnah wal-Jama'ah are unanimously agreed that whoever denies the existence of the jinn is a kafir, because he is rejecting what is mentioned in the Quran and Sunnah. The jinn are mentioned in more than 40 verses of the Quran, which are included in 10 surahs, and there is an entire surah which is named after them, Surah Al-Jinn. The Muslim is required to believe firmly, with no shadow of a doubt, in the existence of the jinn. As far as these stories and beliefs are concerned, the Muslim should measure them against the Book of God and the Sunnah. We should reject it because, as I stated above, this is an unseen and invisible world, and we cannot expect that all these stories are sound. In Sahih Muslim, in the lengthy hadith of Ibn Mas'ud, it is narrated that the jinn asked the Prophet Muhammad for provision. He said, لكم كل عظم ذكر اسم الله عليه يقع في أيديكم أوفر ما يكون لحما وكل بعرة علوف لدوابكم. Yours is every bone over which the name of God has been mentioned, which will fall into your hands, covered with flesh, and every piece of dung is food for your animals. Then Prophet Muhammad said, sallallahu alayhi wasallam, فلا تستنجوا بهما فإنهما طعام إخوانكم. Don't use these two things for istinja, cleaning after relieving oneself, for they are the food of your brothers. So we throw away bones and don't see any meat on them. Rather, we see a bone just as it is, a bone. So too, we don't see the disappearance of the dung. But the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ has told us that it is food for the animals of the jinn. So we must believe in what the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ has told us about every bone over which the name of God has been mentioned, having plenty of meat on it for the jinn, and about dung being food for their animals. We must believe in this as a matter of the unseen, because it is a matter of the unseen concerning which the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ has told us. As for what people tell us, we have to measure it against the Quran and Sunnah. If it is in accordance with them, we will expect it, and if it is not in the accordance with them, we will reject it. I praise God, the Almighty, for having helped me to complete this work, and I hope that God, the Exalted, will expect it and make my intention truly for His sake, and that He will reward me for this work of mine on the day when I meet Him, as He helped me to complete it in this life. By the grace of my Lord, the series has been well received by the slaves of God, and I hope that my Lord will expect it from me and be pleased with my work by His grace and kindness. May He forgive me for any shortcomings that exist in it. I hope that those who read this series will make dua supplication for Maram Fatani, her future husband and relatives, and my family and my father and my mom and all Muslim people alive and dead and all every God creation, and pray that God forgive us for our mistakes and our sins. May God bestow His mercy upon me by virtue of righteous dua from a righteous slave. And I am trying to be Allah's successor in the earth, and I'm gonna put it in the net, so it will be like Sadaqah Jariyah. God gave good marks continuous to the people alive and dead people until the day of judgment. And the good marks goes to Maram Fatani, my family, my father, my mother, my sisters, my brothers, and my future husband, and all relatives, and my relatives, and all Muslim alive and dead people, and all God creations alive and dead